Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Look, man, Terence Crawford will lose. He will lose in his next fight if he doesn't get back in that ring sooner than later. I have a feeling he'll get past Earl Spence. So I'm not worried about that. But I'm not so sure Earl Spence and Terence Crawford and that rematch happens. I understand there's a contractual obligation, but this is really dragging out, man. But let's say he has a rematch with Spence, right? I think Crawford gets that win. This is the problem. Terence Crawford is not getting any younger, man. He's inactive. That's not good. Now, I understand Victor Conti and him being a pharmaceutical genius, and I understand the supplementation strategy, and there's a approach to Terence Crawford and how they set him up for fights to where Terence Crawford at his, what I'm going to say, an advanced age, is performing like some of these 20, 21-year-olds. But nonetheless, you got to stay active. You got to stay in the ring. When you look at guys like Tim Tszyu, who's come off of I would say like a buzzsaw of a year, where he was just tearing through opponents and staying active. You know, for me, I just can't help but be concerned with Bud Crawford about to be 37 years old, having 40 fights. That means over 40 training camps. That means a lot of think about all the amateur fighting, all the sparring. When will Father Time show up for Terence Crawford? I understand his dad, the genetics, dad's in shape, his mom is in shape. So as far as genetics, he's been gifted by both of his parents to be just like a different kind of species, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, these are real things we got to look at. Now, Earl Spence was able to land a couple shots on Crawford, nothing to write home about, but he was able to touch him a couple times. The one time when he landed what I think, according to Crawford, was the cleanest shot in the fight from Spence. Crawford was like, oh, that's all he has? Now, what I'm going to tell you, if Earl Spence, who looked lethargic, who just looked like he couldn't get it all together, if Earl Spence was able to land on Terence Crawford, right, which he did, doesn't matter if you're a Crawford fan or not, no one's bashing Crawford. So for those of you who are behind your keyboards already typing up bullshit, to that I say, hold your horses, stop taking it to the stupid, right? For 1 second in your goddamn life, just try to have an open mind and listen to the conversation, because I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Don't tell me I'm wrong. But don't type bullshit because, you are goddamn obsessed with a fighter. But my thing is, what happens if you get a guy like Tim Tszyu to tee off on Crawford? Virgil Ortiz, we got to see how he looks, but we know Virgil Ortiz is tough. What happens if these guys are able to tee off on Crawford? All right? Because Crawford does get hit in fights. But the problem is what he dishes out, the opponents can't handle. But what happens if Father Time just happens to creep in there? And now he's in there with a young gunner who, kind of outslings him. Then what do we have? Now, for those of you out there who thinking, Crawford can do this, probably another 8, 9 years. So was Crawford supposed to box professionally for 30 years? Who is he, Roberto Duran now? This man's supposed to box across 4 different decades now? What are we talking about? Y'all keep forgetting, man, Crawford turned pro in 2008. In March of 2008. So just a couple months away from 2007. Crawford been fighting for a long damn time. We figured 2008, 2018, and 2004. Crawford been fighting a long time. His inactivity is not what he wants and not what he needs. Now, I'm going to bring this up, and I'm not at all for those of you who hear what you want to hear, I'm not saying they're the same person. I'm just talking about the inactivity. Look what we saw here recently. You know, Gerald Miller, inactivity. Deontay Wilder, inactivity. Inactivity kills fighters, man. Fucking, what's his name, man? Tyson Fury, who Crawford picked to get in there and destroy Ngannou. Because Crawford respects Tyson Fury's skill, and Fury this, Fury that. He speaks very highly of Fury. Look what happened to Fury when he got in there with Ngannou. Inactivity. Of course, some people say, well, he was out of shape, but Tyson Fury always looks like a goddamn bag of mashed potatoes. So I don't know what the hell y'all talking about, but he did look a little bit more muscular in the Wilder fights, I'll tell you that. That's because he had the Sajad cocktail. All I'm saying is, outside of Errol Spence, anyone Terence Crawford fights, it's a hard fight for him. He needs to figure out a way, like I said in the video I did earlier, to land huge fights, but there aren't many. So the money he's thinking he can get, he probably won't get. But he needs to get some decent paydays. Because this $50, $60 million shit, this $40 million, I don't think it's there for him. But he may be able to snatch him a few $10 to $15 million paydays. Get those and bounce. Because the longer Crawford hangs around, the longer he's going to go inactive. You figure he's going to, by the time he fights Errol Spence, if that fight happens, people, we already going into the 7th month. About to hit the 8th month. That's almost a year of inactivity. See, y'all got to look at it for what it is. I'm not making anything up. That's not a good thing. And it's just frustrating for me to sit back and watch this and see all the UK fighters, for the most part. The UK fighters stay active. Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, they keep their guys busy. I get it, the UK supports fighters a lot more. I get it that those guys are connected out there to the secret society. I get it. But if Terence Crawford really wants to get some good paydays, I truly believe Crawford, after he gets through this fight with Spence, if it happens, I don't think he should be messing around with no Jerron Boutsinis over here and trying to sign another deal with PBC. I don't think he should do that. I think Crawford should go over there and hook up with Frank Warren. You know, Eddie Hearn, but Frank Warren. Frank Warren seems to be the man right now. Go over there and link up a little 2-fight deal with Frank Warren and fight in Saudi. Matter of fact, finish your career fighting in Saudi, 3 fights. They know Crawford over there. Crawford knows Kinahan. I ain't saying that to be funny. It's true. Crawford got the connections. He knows people. He still has working relationships with them. Crawford could easily go over there and fight in Saudi. But he got to figure something out, because if he mess around out here nickel and diamond, messing around with these damn American promoters, for what he's looking for, I don't think Al Haymon is the answer. For what he's looking for, I think Crawford needs to go to Frank Warren. Because he's going to mess around out here and fight Keith Thurman and all this inactivity. Both inactive. And Keith Thurman, who, you know, does have some skill and a little bit of pop, will mess around and the damn sun going to shine on his ass, and he going to land something against Crawford if they fight. Crawford going to mess around and fight Virgil Ortiz, and Virgil Ortiz going to land something on his ass if they fight. He going to mess around and fight goddamn Tim Tszyu. You know Tim Tszyu stay in the gym, and Tim Tszyu going to land something on him. So Crawford got to figure it out. Him and his team got to figure it out. But, you know, this is a good example of what Tyson Fury was talking about. Now, you know, I always got the hairy eyeball on Tyson Fury. But that's why Tyson Fury he's just not feeling these rematch clauses in contracts anymore. You know, could you imagine if Crawford, well, of course, because of everything that was on the table, but this is what sucks about it, right? Crawford, he signs to fight Spence. He and Spence agree on a rematch. Whoever loses, you get a rematch, you get an opportunity for the undisputed distinction. So Spence is out here like, all right, I lost. I'll fight him again. I'll get my crack, a second shot at undisputed. Then the IBF comes and takes the goddamn belt. That's crazy. So now, what's really Spence's motivation to come fight Crawford? You know what I mean? They're not fighting for undisputed. So That's why I say, man, I ain't so sure that fight's gonna happen. Was Spence just gonna fight to prove a point that he could put on a better performance? Spence need to think about what he's doing too. The inactivity hurt him badly against Crawford and the weight. And he and Crawford fight again. I see all kind of stuff on social media. I'm gonna tell y'all, don't believe all that shit you hear, unless it comes from Crawford's mouth or something. Don't listen to all that stuff you hear, man. These guys will say anything with this content they create. But I just have a conversation. I'm telling you, I don't know. I'm just giving my opinion. But if that fight is at 147, and Crawford chooses to campaign at 147, he's gonna have to get active. You can't just beat Spence and make whatever money he's gonna make in a rematch and go another year. I mean, Crawford already wants to retire. That's the other thing. He's not getting any younger. He's inactive as hell, and he wants to retire. You heard what Deontay Wilder said. You know, if it's over, it's over. Hey, after he lost, also he told AJ during the press conference, hey, if we fight, cool. If not, I wish you the best. That's not a good sign. Terence Crawford out here like chilling. That's not a good sign. Don't get me wrong. Crawford's always shown that he's all in and he can lock in training camp, but I don't care what nobody says. If anyone out here is talking about retirement and still fighting, if you're a boxing fan, I can't see how you can sit there and be okay with hearing Crawford talk like that and for him to continue fighting. If fighters start talking like that, they need to bounce. You remember when Miguel Cotto started talking all that? I don't know how much longer. I have my wife, my children, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then his performances, he wasn't looking the best anymore. He had like 3-4 left. And he went off into the sunset. But when he really started talking that retirement talk, Cotto was already checked out. He just had to finish off, I guess, whatever many fights he had in his contract. He still got in the ring and he fought, but it wasn't the Cotto who was like, all right, I'm hurt, but I'm gonna dig deep and come back and get my licks and get this win. Nah, that Cotto was gone. That Deontay Wilder seems to be gone. And we're going to find out. I already think that Errol Spence is kind of gone. And we're going to find out with Terence Crawford. Not in the Errol Spence rematch. I think he beats him no problem. But if he continues fighting after that and gets into one of them young, hungry lions, we're going to see. And I think some people are going to be shocked. Because, people aren't really used to seeing Terence Crawford get hurt. But he got his ass zapped up a few times in fights. It's boxing. You're gonna get hit. But I think if he messes around with this inactivity age and the fact that he's already wanting to retire, I think you're gonna see him get knocked down. You're gonna see him get hurt, and it's just best to just go on. People sit there and slam Floyd Mayweather, man. Floyd Mayweather, 50-0, and he left. He was afraid to fight. Man, the man retired on his own terms. It's damn gazillionaire. Terence Crawford, he's got dough. He can retire on his own terms. He don't have nothing else to prove. Nobody care anyway. That's the other thing. Most people don't give him credit. All they do is harass the shit out of him, insult his wife, insult his kids, insult his coach. Man, that's why I hope Crawford goes out here to make. I hope somehow it works out where he makes himself $100 million before he bounces, an additional $100 million before he bounces. That's why I think he should go to Frank Warren, be selfish, work with them, get his money, worry about his family, and in a sense, don't even worry about the fans. Just get your dough, because you know what? When I'm out there on Twitter, man, I just never seen nothing like it. Maybe because he's active on there, and if you say something to him, he's gonna say something back, and things just escalate. He doesn't de-escalate things. He likes to. He joins into all the melee and shit, but Terence Crawford has it worse than Floyd Mayweather. I think they really go at him, man, and his family. I don't like the way they treat him, but that has nothing to do with this video. It's really about him getting active, man. 2008 is when this man turned pro. People, it's 2023. A couple months, 15 years. About to be 37 years old. Y'all leave your comments below and let me know what you think. But I think the inactivity and everything, I just think we'll see Crawford lose. He better figure it out. If it's about the money, go get the money. Over there in Saudi, they're going to have him fight twice in a year. You know that. The Saudis, they got it set up 2, maybe 3 times. If he wins, he fights again, he makes real money. Deontay Wilder blew a $100 million payday. Deontay Wilder blew $100 million. I'm not talking about the $100 million he was supposed to get fighting AJ a few years ago and the Brazil fight in 2 fights. He just blew another $100 million here by losing the AJ fight. Wilder was supposed to fight twice this year. He blew it. $100 million. Don't get me wrong, for when he came into boxing, he achieved, but it's $100 million. Crawford needs to make sure he doesn't fumble $100 million by allowing these fools to keep him inactive and getting himself caught up in no damn contracts or rematches. If you're going to do that, go to Saudi. Sign something. Whether you win or you lose, they pay you this flat rate of $50 million a fight. Go get your dough and bounce. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. If you think Crawford should do something different, you let me know. But right now, I'm thinking he should sign with Frank Warren for 2 fights, exclusively in Saudi. Make sure you got a guaranteed flat rate, whether he wins or he loses. And win, lose, or draw, go out with a bang and get your $100 million and be out of here. And go back to Omaha and just chill. That's what I think. In the breeze.